Hold on to your butts. It's Wilhelm Screamfest.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Wilhelm Screamfest II. That's right, second year in a row.
Second year.
We're going to do this. And with me is Sam the teacher.
Sam the teacher. Hello, everyone.
So,
It's been a while.
I sent you a list of movies of what you wanted to pick from out of a bunch.
Yeah.
I gave you, I think there was maybe like
20? 30?
20, 25 out of the 30 because some people pick stuff already.
Mm-hmm.
And right off the bat, you went with
Zodiac.
So Zodiac is for our Psychopath Saturdays. Zodiac, it's a 10-year-old movie now.
Wow.
Which is...
Is it really? Oh,
2007.
Yeah. It came out 2007. Yeah,
which
you're right.
it's pretty crazy. So why did you pick Zodiac?
Zodiac. Okay. Well, first of all, I'm a big David Fincher fan.
Okay.
David Fincher, to me, is one of the best auteurs working right now, you know? But as far as Zodiac in particular, I honestly think that this movie is his magnum opus. It is his masterpiece. For a while, I thought it was Social Network, and I'm on the Social Network hype train. I love the Social Network. But I've seen Zodiac probably 20, 25 times, and it just feels like I cannot stop watching it every time it's on.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's one of his best. I've only seen it about 3 times.
Uh-huh.
But each time I watch it, I forget moments, and then it's like, oh my god, this movie is so well done.
Yes.
And I don't think people realize how good this movie actually is. Like on surface, it's a drama, but
Drama about the Zodiac
Yeah.
murders in San Francisco in the 1960s and 70s.
to me, it's a lot like Seven, where there's so much more you can dive into.
Of course.
Like not just the story, but the themes behind it, the underlying tones, the just the way things are shot or
The
like
nuances,
places.
yeah.
I
I think that's true for a lot of Fincher's movies.
Yeah, honestly, I've said this. I think it was when I reviewed Gone Girl when I first saw it, that Fincher is probably one of the best directors of recent time. He's up there with, I mean, people will throw around, not Tarantino. I mean, Tarantino too.
Yeah, Tarantino.
Tarantino or Christopher Nolan, but to me, Christopher Nolan, some of his movies are not as good as his best, I would say. But I think Fincher is, everything is pretty much...
He's very consistent.
Universal, yeah.
I think
universal.
his lowest one is Alien 3.
Which I heard was
It's not that bad.
No, I heard that he didn't have as much influence into it. Like,
Yeah.
though he directed it, it wasn't his movie.
Of course, that's a studio. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Whenever you get a movie franchise, it's going to be...
Mm-hmm.
Come on, look at Star Wars. Look at the Marvel movies. Come on.
So let's just get right into the cast. This cast is banana fucking crazy. We got Jake Gyllenhaal. We got Mark Ruffalo.
Anthony Edwards.
Robert Downey Jr.
Brian Cox. Very good role in this one. Very good role.
We won't keep going down. We'll just leave it with just those because those are the main
Yeah.
group. But it's like, so I didn't see this. I saw this well after Avengers. I was like, holy shit, it's the Hulk and Iron Man.
Oh, shit. I haven't made that connection. Wow.
And I feel like there's another connection to the Marvel Universe. I can't remember what it was. Well, anyway, so basically, if you're not familiar with the Zodiac killings, it took place the late 60s, early 70s. This serial killer was just going around attacking and killing people around the Bay Area.
Yeah. And then he would send letters to various newspapers talking about the murders.
Yeah, and the movie Zodiac focuses on specifically the SF Chronicle.
Mm-hmm. And a cartoonist who works at the SF Chronicle.
The cartoonist is Gyllenhaal. And what role does Robert Downey Jr.? Is he?
He's like an editor at the same newspaper.
I didn't know if he was like of a certain like opinions or something, but he's one of the editors. And then
he's Paul Avery.
Mark Ruffalo is police officer.
Yeah,
Or is
he's
a
a detective. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's a detective.
I would just say that for this movie, I don't think it's not popular, like in general. Like, if you just go on the street and ask someone, "Have you seen Zodiac?" They're like, "What?"
Yeah.
Whether if you were to ask them, like, "Oh, have you seen The Wolf on Wall Street?" They're probably like, "Oh, yeah, I've seen that."
Yeah. Or if you've seen like what's one of his Fight Club?
Yeah,
or,
Fight Club. Everyone's
Yeah.
pretty much seen that or heard of it. Zodiac is, I don't know. I don't know why it goes under the radar. Maybe just because it's drama and dramas aren't as appealing.
Yeah. I forget. It came out around a time when, I don't know how to explain it.
2007 was a crazy year because you had Superbad, you had Die Hard, Live Free or Die Hard.
Oh, is that
you
what
had
it came out?
Transformers.
Isn't that when The Dark Knight came out?
Dark Knight was 08.
Oh, wait. Okay.
Spider-Man 3. I'm just naming big movies.
Yeah.
So all these big movies, and there's countless more, but all these big movies, even 30 Days a Night, which we reviewed earlier in the month, actually on October 19th is its 10th anniversary as well.
Oh, wow.
Which is crazy. But all these big movies, they're overshadowing Zodiac, which is sad because Zodiac is a great movie.
It's a masterpiece.
Like,
to me, that film is perfect. There is nothing wrong with that movie. You could watch it all day. You could focus on a different aspect.
Mhm.
Let's focus on the acting. Blam! Jake Gyllenhaal's kicking ass. Robert Downey Jr. is amazing. Mark Ruffalo as a detective.
Yeah.
Come on, dude. A lot of these roles.
By the way, when you do that, the mic can pick all that.
I'm
shit
sorry.
up. It's okay.
It's just like these are almost some of their best roles.
Yeah, I think that this was anyone even nominated for this movie?
I don't think so. This kind of flew way into the radar.
Which-
but let me check. Let me double check just to make sure.
While you're doing that, I'll look at just the 2007 nominees of who did win, because there's always years where there's people that are really good, but for whatever reason they don't get nominated because there's just way better
Reception. Let's check it out.
But yeah, so
It made $13 million its opening weekend.
that's it.
Yeah. Guess it was outgrossed by Wild Hogs.
Oh God.
Yep.
Okay, best actor. We have Forrest Whitaker, the last King of Scotland,
Okay.
who won. Leonardo DiCaprio for Blood Diamond. Ryan Gosling, Half Nelson. Will Smith, Pursuit of Happiness. Supporting actor. Alan Arkin for Little Miss Sunshine. Jackie Earle Haley, Little Children.
Oh, wow.
Eddie Murphy for Dreamgirls. Mark Wahlberg for The Departed.
Yeah, it got nominated for nothing.
And it's sad because it's a really good movie. We keep saying really good movie. Let's just say why it's a good movie.
Yeah.
First off, the camera work alone.
Impeccable. Fincher is known for doing hundreds and hundreds of takes for each of his scenes. So he will find the best possible shot.
And the reason why it's so good is people don't, like, common viewers will not notice anything. They'll just be watching the movie, but it's so crisp and clear and smooth, and the shots are made so well. No one will think, "Oh wow, that's a good shot." Like, it's just, unless you're a movie buff, you're not going to notice it, which means you did your job.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The costume design is insane. Like,
feels like
and
a
the
movie
hair,
from the 60s and 70s.
even like the way it's shot, where it's like it has almost like a dark filter to it.
Yeah.
Not too much, not like a Zack Snyder dark, but
It's a tint to give that tone,
Mm-hmm.
of this, sinister overtone of this serial killer going around. But, Fincher, he will do whatever it takes to get whatever his vision is.
Yeah.
And it's noticed in all of his films.
And also what goes unnoticed is the CGI in this movie.
Yep.
Like he uses, I can't remember the person that was, I think Captain Christian is the name on YouTube. He has really good video essays, and he did one on Fincher and CGI and how he uses CGI to set the setting for whatever year it is. So like you see the Bay
Yeah.
of San Francisco, and all that is CGI, which 10 years ago, it still looks amazing today.
And it's awesome. I mean, us being from the Bay,
Yeah.
it's cool seeing a movie that really delves into that because you don't see that often.
Yeah,
you
like
know?
Social Network, which I didn't know, has more CGI usage than the 2014 or 2015 Godzilla.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, there's that much CGI that's in Social Network, which is not even noticed. Fincher's really
pretty good.
He uses CGI in such a way where it's impeccable. You don't notice what it is, and if you do see it,
it doesn't detract you from the experience.
It doesn't at all. But yeah, the look, and everyone looks like, okay, you're from the 60s, you're from the 70s. Like, it's not like nothing's really standing out.
Yeah, the clothes, the shirts specifically.
Research was done really well. I think why I put it as in Wilhelm Screamfest is because it is so suspenseful, and when you do see, because it's not like you see the crime scene, you see it actually happen.
Yeah.
So you're in the point of view of the victim. So
the film opens up with his first murders in Vallejo.
That's the shooting, right, in the car?
Yep, the shooting in the car.
Which you see the car drive by and you're like, okay, it's gone.
It's very tense.
Yes.
The entire movie. The flow of the movie is what I want to talk about. The flow, to me, is what first drew my attention the first time I ever watched this. The first time I ever watched this, actually, was at a friend's house, and it was on TV. I didn't even watch it on Blu-ray, and it was like midway through.
Oh, God.
Yeah, so I started midway through, and I don't normally do that, but for some reason it hooked me like that. Mm-hmm. And literally for the rest of the movie, I was so hooked. I couldn't keep my eyes off of it, you know? And I think that's the major strong point of Zodiac, that once you hop in, you get really invested into the story, into the crimes that are happening, into Jake Gyllenhaal's quest to figure out who this Zodiac killer is.
Yeah.
And it just keeps you engaged until the end, where you finally feel satisfied. And the film kind of goes in a direction that may or may not be true. Mm-hmm. But I think that it helps people. It almost helps people have closure, for those people who lived through that Zodiac.
Yeah, so like we're too young to know anything really about the Zodiac. Like I think I've maybe heard like stuff. Maybe it was like 60 Minutes or something like that. But like my parents have never talked about it, and even them, they're too young to, because they've been like 5 years old. But for the people who grew up during that time, it was a scary ass fucking time. Like
very scary. You couldn't go anywhere.
Like,
you'd just be scared that you could be killed randomly.
Like there's a scene where they're at the like the hilltop, or not the hilltop, but like they're by the lake,
Lake Berryessa.
And I'm like, I've been there before. Yeah. I don't want to go back there now. Like that's fucking scary.
And you know what? It looks like Lake Berryessa too. I wouldn't be surprised if they filmed in
I
location.
think they did, because that looks exactly like it.
Knowing Fincher, he probably did.
And that scene is just spoilers. That scene, I was like, okay, are they going to get away? Like, is he just going to... Because you never know what the Zodiac is going to do.
Yeah.
Then he ties it up. And he's like, okay, they're just going to take the money and scare them. So like,
honestly, first time I saw it, I thought they were just going to... He was just going to leave them there tied up.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I'm like, cool, take all their shit, leave them tied up, fine. But when he starts... When you first figure out that he's going to stab this broad...
Yeah. Well, doesn't he stab the guy first and then
No,
her?
Wait.
I think he stabs the guy first.
You might be right.
Because she starts crying and then she's like... Ugh! And it's
like, just crazy, yeah.
But the sound effect of that, like
the blade going in and out.
I feel like that is a lot more scarier than any Saw, or like Saw is like, yeah, that's painful, but this is like, first of all, you're seeing your loved one get murdered,
and when you realize it really happened, it really happened. And Fincher really got a lot of these, police reports and pieced together the crime scene. And if I remember correctly, he actually spoke to the survivor, because the man survived. The man survived, and he spoke to the survivor for authenticity. In terms of like how the Zodiac killer looked.
Like I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about how like chilling this movie is. Like it's definitely has its suspense and you're just following the story, but once it gets to the actual killings, or like where they're getting close to it, you're just like, oh shit.
Yeah.
And then, which they never say who the killer is, but
they allude to it.
We think we know who it is. And that whole scene with like his watch, he's like, oh yeah, it's a Zodiac, and da-da-da.
It's a gift from my whatever, yeah, and you see it, and then the little things just start pieced together. The shoes are the same size. He always has an alibi for every little thing, It just
feels like if this was not real, this is totally Fincher can make all this up, but
Yeah.
like it's the crime just screams Fincher, the style of it,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
the serial killer and all these little hints and everything. This movie's, if you haven't seen it,
Is it on Netflix?
yes, it's still on Netflix.
Okay,
That's
yeah.
where I watched it about 3 weeks ago.
No excuses then.
Yeah, someone has a Netflix account. I believe it's on Amazon Prime too, but you can definitely buy it at your Walmart $9 bin,
Yeah.
$8 bin.
Yep.
Which it's good that it's that cheap, but sad at the same time because that means that not a lot of people are buying the movie.
Yeah. And you know what? There was a time when that Blu-ray was out of print.
Yeah, you were
So-
telling me this.
Yeah, it was to get an American copy of Zodiac on Blu-ray cost upwards of $150.
Oh, thank you. Even though that movie's good, but that's a lot.
They sold a cheaper one, but it was in Europe. I had to get it shipped from Europe just to watch it.
And was it all region though? So
Yeah, it was all region, but it didn't have all the special features and none of that.
But yeah, this is an epitome of a true storyteller that's bringing
Top of his game.
something. Well, you can't bring it to life because it already is alive. It happened before, and
The way the story unfolds, I'm telling you, you can't look away. You know, it's just piece by piece. It just keeps progressing and progressing, and it spans over years.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just a year in the life of this man hunting for the Zodiac killer. It's literally showcases Jake Gyllenhaal's descent into this madness that he needs to find the Zodiac killer for himself. He spoiler, he ends up losing his wife. He ends up being separated from his children because he lets this pursuit consume his life.
and it's not just him. Just about everyone that you follow in the San Francisco Chronicle and even the detectives, you see an evolution between them, and it's just like, oh my god, like this is crazy.
Yeah. Paul Avery, Robert Downey Jr.'s character, definitely had that too. He was. When you first see him in the beginning of the film, he's very, witty. He knows he's on the top of his game. But as the Zodiac killers keep going and no one's finding him, he starts getting more paranoid. Starts drinking more to the point where he destroyed his career.
I think it's funny how people say Iron Man is what brought him back. This movie,
When did Iron Man come out?
2008.
No way.
Yep.
Really?
Yep, the year after.
Imagine if Iron Man came before Zodiac. I think it would have been a bigger film.
It would have made definitely a bigger film, especially or even Avengers came out with Mark Ruffalo. Because honestly, I had no idea who Mark Ruffalo was until I saw Avengers.
Wow.
Because
Really?
I haven't seen him. His other movies, I haven't seen them before then.
What are Mark Ruffalo's other movies before Avengers? Because I know I knew him, but I don't know. I can't recall off the top of my head what film specifically.
Ruffalo. Yeah, it's just so funny how they're like in the same movie together, and then they're science bros.
Quick back to Robert Downey Jr. Did you know that he was so against David Fincher's filming styles, with the constant takes, that they would rarely get any breaks? So Robert Downey Jr., in order to protest this, he would piss in mason jars and just leave it across the set.
Oh my god.
Fincher did not like that.
Oh my god, I totally forgot. He plays the boyfriend in Where the Wild Things Are.
Oh shit!
And
It's probably a few scenes though.
I think it's like one scene.
Yeah, it's
Shutter Island.
okay. Oh yeah, and that came before Zodiac.
Oh, this was after Zodiac.
Okay.
Before Zodiac, we have
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what he was before Zodiac.
The King's Men. Rumor has it, Just Like Heaven, 13 Going on 30, Bloopers. Oh, whatever. Collateral.
Oh,
he wasn't 13 going on 30.
Collateral. But he was weird in Collateral.
Oh,
yeah.
Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Duh. Which that was a movie I didn't see till late either. Like I didn't see that when it came out.
I didn't see that till later. Yeah.
But what was I going off of with? Oh, I feel like a movie that's very similar to this, that's more recent, is Spotlight. Another.
Yeah, the way the story progresses, you get really, and Mark Ruffalo's also in there.
Yeah, Mark Ruffalo is amazing in that movie.
Yes, he is. Did he get nominated for that film?
He did. He didn't win, but he got nominated. Like that movie, that scene that he got nominated. I'm not gonna say what it is, but I literally had tears in my eyes. Like,
Yeah,
of
man.
how
It's a powerful scene.
he's a great actor. Everyone in this movie is not Spotlight, but in Zodiac is a great movie. A great actor. Do you have any closing arguments or closing statements before we go into review?
Closing statements for Zodiac.
I think you would do it more justice since this is like one of your favorite movies.
I think what you need to really think about when you talk about Zodiac is that it's almost like a timeless film, you know, and the way that it was made in today's technology, it's you can completely recreate the magic that was 1960s and 70s. So if someone was living through the 1960s and 70s, this is a really cool look back to what they experienced in terms of living through the Zodiac killings.
Yeah.
And if it's for people like you and I who didn't get to live through any of that, it's also a nice look back. You know, the cars are very, you know, period like, you know, the music that you hear, very period like. It's just a very, very well made film. And I think when it all comes down to it, when people are talking about Zodiac, David Fincher's legacy and sort of what his best movies are and his contribution to cinema and all that, I think Zodiac will be rated very highly amongst his filmography just because it's perfectly made, man. You could watch it and just from beginning to end, each shot is perfectly placed. The music is perfectly put in. The acting is impeccable. You know, the way the story unfolds is something like you've never really... It's just something that catches you and takes you on a journey, you know? It's a dark journey. A journey that will leave you in suspense, that will leave you a little bit scared. You know, that scene in the basement that I'm talking about with Jake Gyllenhaal and the guy who he thinks is the Zodiac killer.
I'm trying to remember what
he was writing. He wrote the movie posters, and he was trying to find a specific. Do you not remember the scene? It's like towards the end. It's almost when he starts to figure out that it's Arthur Lee Allen.
Oh yeah. Okay.
It's like in the rain, and he gets locked inside the house. That scene, very, very tense. It's almost like a horror movie.
Oh yeah. Even another really chilling moment that's not like a kill or anything is when we don't know the Zodiac killer calls in and and he does he's like my head ache and he goes
I have headaches
and like does that weird oh my god, that's like something like the Mothman would make, like in Mothman Prophecies. It's just like
oh man, I haven't heard about that movie in a long time. You just name drop my
name drop like motherfucker. Yeah, but throughout this we can go on and on about this part was chilling and this and this, and the best way to experience this, like, just watch the movie. We can't do it justice reviewing it.
I can't.
Like,
there's no way I could give it justice.
We can be talking about this movie for like 3 hours.
This is Fincher at his best.
So out of 5 stars, what would you give this movie?
10, 9. It's a 5. It's a perfect movie, in my opinion.
I don't think I've given a 5 on the podcast. I've written reviews of 5. But because this is not maybe my 10th podcast review, but I would give this a 5 as well. It's not in my top 25 movies, which people, if you say it to a normal person, like, what? You have a top 20, top 20? Like, there's so many movies out there.
Yeah, there's way too many.
This isn't in my top 25, but that doesn't mean that it's not a perfect movie.
To me, it definitely is in my top 10. It's one of those movies that I can go back to and rewatch. Now, even just talking about this, I want to go and watch it tonight.
Yeah, I feel like it doesn't have a rewatchable quality to it if you're a common moviegoer.
If you're a cinephile.
It's a movie like you can watch once a year, but if you're a cinephile or just really love actual movie making, filmmaking, this is the movie that you'll want to watch, dissect. Watch the special features. Watch the special features over again. Watch with the commentary.
Yes.
Which I want to do that. I haven't done that.
I haven't done that either. And the many times I've seen Zodiac, I have yet to.
Maybe you could do that tonight.
Yeah. It's tough with commentaries for me, but I'll check it out.
Yeah, it just really depends on the movie and who's commentating.
Yeah.
But, yeah, we both give it 5 out of 5. It's on Netflix. Go watch it. If you are a cinephile, you're pretty much going to like this movie.
Oh, no,
so
no
just
doubt.
go buy the Blu-ray because the Blu-ray is fantastic.
Before it goes out of print.
Again. But yeah, thanks for being on this review.
No problem.
Especially since you're saying how much you love this movie. I was excited to talk about it. So stay tuned for the rest of Wilhelm Screamfest. We have altogether 31 reviews this month. You can go to my Twitch, which is twitch.tv/Ikaika S3, and I'll be playing all horror games this month. I played Alien Isolation. I keep saying this in the podcast, but I cannot beat the survival mode. I get so far and the alien just fucks me over.
You can talk to Dave about that too.
It's scary to play, especially when like if you're drinking, like not even like drunk, but just like a little buzz. You're more like your senses are more heightened, and then I can't even imagine that game on what's it called, VR. This would be insane. But stay tuned for that. WilhelmScreeners.com, which you're already there if you're listening to this. Like the video on YouTube. Follow us, Wilhelm Screeners on Twitter, and we'll be back later.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks for listening.